Welcome, everybody, to a new and exciting episode of Ergo Pulse. And so, just to spare you, today we're not going to do any polls jokes, right? Joe, no polls jokes?
I got no pulse, man. It's too cold, you know? I have no pulse here. It's winter. What's up, Marty?
Yeah. So, we had you here before. We learned a lot about Paideia. We learned a lot about ErgoPad. So, what have you been doing? What have you been up to, Marty?
It's been a bit since I've been on the show, I think. Like several months.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had quite...
I think like a year almost.
It was like last summer or something.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, it's been a bit.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've been busy. We've been doing tons of stuff. Idea is getting close. Louis Vaucher's been hard at work on the smart contracts. We had Cheese Enthusiasts just do an audit on the smart contracts as well. So I think they're getting close. We're looking at hopefully MVP release in April. I know we've said before it was a little earlier, but you know how dates go.
Yeah.
The bear market came. We've really kind of, what would you say?
You tightened your belt is the nice way to put it.
For sure, yeah. So,
slow burn.
I didn't want to
started to slow burn things.
That's right. We wanted to maintain as long as we could and try and survive the bear market. So we've kind of slowed down a bit. We're also working on some new platforms. We're working on an NFT marketplace, mass minting platform. We want to support projects such as Blitz, who are going to use our platform to launch their card game, just to sell the cards themselves. So we've been working on that. We've been working on Paideia. We've been working on kind of improving on ErgoPad because there's a lot of little things that need to be updated. So just all that stuff's going on in tandem. Paideia Web 2 demo went live since last we spoke to you. So you guys can go to app.paideia.im. You just need one token for any of the DAOs. So like if you have one Paideia token in your wallet, you can go in there, you can start a discussion, you can leave comments, chat with people. And kind of gives you a sample of how the platform works and how it looks. And then when MVP is live, you'll be able to do a lot more, like make real proposals that'll be fully protected by smart contracts. So we're working on that. I know I'm talking a lot, but we're also working on we're trying to get El Salvador just passed new laws around crypto tokens. So we're working to get a corporation registered in El Salvador so that we can really get some help new projects be very compliant with the law and move into the future as regulation comes into place around crypto. And that'll allow us to start having conversations with centralized exchanges and things like that. So we've got a lot going on. We're very busy. We're definitely not bored behind the scenes here, even if we seem quiet.
That's good to hear.
That's how the bear market works. If you're building your thing, is just there's a lot less noise. So then people who might not be in the middle of it kind of think like, whoa, what have you guys been doing? I mean, even with the Zengate business, we were always doing stuff. I mean, literally working on it every single day, several hours a day. It's one of those times when you can build and kind of concentrate because the noise is not there. People aren't just like when numbers go up, you don't have that, like banging on your window. Come on, guys, come on, launch a token. Come on, let's go. I want to, I want 100x. But anyway, so I was not 100% clear on the difference between Paideia. Well, you know what I mean, and ErgoPad. Yeah, Paideia and ErgoPad. Paideia. Okay, give us a bit of that.
I'll give you a bit of backstory to start. When we launched ErgoPad, one of the main things we wanted to do is keep things decentralized and kind of make it so that the community can invest together in developing projects that'll benefit the community, right? And so really the only way to do that is to create a DAO around it where people kind of pool their funds together and choose together how those funds are spent on developing the platform they're trying to build. So ErgoPad and Paideia are two different things. ErgoPad is a launch pad, which is meant to help people invest as a group with one another on community built projects. And Paideia is DAO management software, which allows you to manage those DAOs that you create, many of which will be created through ErgoPad, launched through ErgoPad, but it'll let you manage those treasuries. So once you've got the funds pooled together, now what? There are some functions on Ergo, such as multi-sig wallets, that you can kind of do on the base layer. But a multi-sig wallet is a little bit inefficient for larger groups. You kind of have to pass a signed transaction around between each signee or signer, I guess you would say. And it's just a little slow to get anything done. So what we're trying to build here is a very simple to use management panel for your DAO. So you'll put your pooled resources or your funds into a smart contract protected wallet. And then anytime you want to spend those funds, somebody will have to make a proposal, and they'll have to there will be a vote on that proposal to determine whether those funds are spent as a group. So Paideia is really just sort of there to make it super easy for people to do that in a safe way on the blockchain. So that's kind of the difference. Does that make sense? Or
Sure. On one hand, you have the ability to raise funds, and then the other, you manage them.
that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So one is kind of like almost the extension of the other one. So the next step, right?
Yeah.
So you start with ErgoPad and you continue with Paideia. Paideia.
It sounds like ErgoPad's been busy this month. You've had duck pools, you've had Spectrum. I think that's coming up.
Yeah.
What's the latest?
Yeah, Spectrum is actually, both of them are about halfway through. They're both coming into the public round. Spectrum was the first platform that had like a fully completed product before doing their IDO, I believe. So a lot of people were very excited about that. I mean, and they're not just building Spectrum, the DEX on Ergo. They're building Spectrum, the L1. They're going to have their own layer 1 protocol that operates between platforms, between Ergo and between Cardano. So you're going to have a DEX on ADA, Cardano, you're going to have a DEX on Ergo, and then you're going to have another layer where you can transfer assets between the two. So yeah, super excited about Spectrum. They're really the only DEX on Ergo anyway. Without them, we would have never been able to launch ErgoPad. And then you've got duck pools, which is the first pooled lending protocol. There's also what's it called? What's Sigma Phi for lending? Joe, what's that?
Yeah, we have a couple of lending protocols that are coming out. Sigma Phi is one that's more peer-to-peer. Yeah. Duck pools, which is more pool, so peer. And then we also have Sigma, or what is it, O or something?
XLE.
Yeah, XLE is more like uncollateralized, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then we also have someone playing with futures, and we may have a new type of DEX in development as well.
Oh, like an order book DEX?
Yeah, like a grid bot DEX, I guess.
Super cool. So all this stuff's coming up. Somebody's going to need to build like a cohesive DeFi platform that you can do everything on, where you don't have to get all your funds, bounce all your stuff around, and you can see it all in one place with a nice panel. We'll see where we go in 2023. We've got a long time to go. So
yeah, we're just getting started in 2023 already. A lot has happened, a lot of new developments, and which is cool. I mean, what I really like seeing is more and more effort for going cross-chain, because I mean, obviously not every ecosystem is compatible with every other ecosystem, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, and again, every ecosystem has its own flavor, its own unique tooling. I don't believe in one ring to rule them all type of mentality, especially with the Cardano and the Ergo system. We've always been really symbiotic and friendly, and kind of working cross chain, because as we all know, a lot of Cardano people are Ergo people and vice versa. There are some similarities between the way the blockchains are built, the accounting model, and so let's talk cross chain. You're going cross chain, right? So what does that mean for you? How are you going to do it, first of all?
Yeah, we're working out the details. We've been waiting for Rosen Bridge. We're super excited about Rosen Bridge to go live. Uh, but it's hard to decide. We'll have to talk to the community about whether or not they'd like to have, you know, the same number of tokens for Paideia on Ergo as they do on Cardano. Will you have to use the bridge to get them over there? Will we release a new token on Cardano? So we're gonna have to talk to the community about that. But I'm also advising on a project called Teddy Swap, which is a Cardano stablecoin DEX. And the devs on that project have a lot of experience with Cardano. So I'd love to speak to them about helping us with Paideia going cross-chain when they're available once Teddy Swap launches. So, we'd love to do, we've already built the front end, we've built the UI, we've kind of got everything ready to go. So then it would just be a matter of building the smart contracts on Cardano and following kind of what we've already done on Ergo. It's UTXO. It should be pretty straightforward to port over with the guidance of our dev team. So, hopefully what we can do is offer the same exact functionality on both chains. And then utilizing Rosen Bridge and new tools such as potentially Spectrum, depending on how that functionality looks, people could have DAOs that are also cross-chain. So we're working towards that. But we definitely have to consult the community on how they'd like to see that launched. Because there's a
So is that something you'll use Paideia for? Like the first thing with Paideia is how do we take Paideia cross-chain?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the plan. I want to get the MVP launched, and then we'll have something to show the Cardano community to say, look, we've pulled it off. We've already done it on Ergo. Do you want this on Cardano, and are you interested? I think it'll be a great way to kind of market the platform. So.
Well, look, I think that I mean the beauty of these ecosystems is that they're decentralized, right? So you don't have to ask permission. I think there's still enough market share, even if there are similar products in development right now, for you to go cross chain, for you to get to build on Cardano. I think there's definitely a need for Paideia and what you offer on Cardano as well. You have a really good rep from the Ergo community. You're well known and respected in the Ergo community. So I really don't think that you need to even worry about kind of saying, well, do you need something like this? Just do it. I'd say just do it. Just build.
Yeah.
And just make it happen. And like I said, it's it is needed. I think it's a really cool product, and I think it is needed, and it will be picked up by the community if it becomes available.
Software is a fickle thing like that, where it's like way back in the day, you could go back on like the Ethereum ecosystem, and people were so excited for EtherDex, like it's the first DEX, right? And where is it now?
And there's lots of you at Uniswap, but there's so many clones of the same thing, right?
Yeah,
people.
Yeah, there's
you iterate a little bit and build something else. People will want. There's use for it. There is competition. I think direct competition for Paideia that may launch on Cardano at some point. But
good.
But that's
I hope it makes you.
I
think that's great.
I hope it makes you a better project, is what I say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's excellent.
I mean, you want competition because that really helps you evolve. You see, you don't have to try everything yourself.
And people need options basically, too,
You can have other people also try, fuck up, and then you say, wait a second, let's not do that. And we didn't just spend $100,000 figuring that out.
Learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, or vice versa. You might work together and just bring different flavors into the ecosystem. I think it's very good. I encourage it. Again, going back to what we're doing, with Palmyra, there isn't really something that's specifically like what we're building, and that's actually in a way sometimes is kind of frustrating because you want to compare. You want to do competitive analysis to other products that do the same thing. And so we have to kind of look around really hard and say, oh, these guys are doing something close. Let's check them out. Like, no, it's a little bit different. Okay, but these guys, they're really close. We're almost like playing like Eureka with trying to find somebody who does sort of what we're trying to do. Yeah, so just build it, man. Just make it happen. Come, come to Cardano. Yeah.
The other thing is the open source side of it, right? I think it's great that some people are building open source, so it'll be good to have two projects where you can kind of use one another's code where needed and kind of take examples from others. That's what Spectrum's done. We've borrowed some of their code. They've borrowed some of ours. They've kind of built stuff we did on Ergo on Cardano, where since we weren't there already for the vesting contract. So, it's great. Yeah, the more competition, the better. The more people developing open source, the better. I think it's a good thing.
So are you going to take some type of like, I don't know, Cardano pad?
I think we need
as well.
I think we need to go launch a launch pad on Cardano. I just don't know whether it'll be ErgoPad rebranded to be the same thing on both, or it'll be a separate thing, or if ErgoPad will kind of meld into this new cross-chain launch pad. I'm not too sure yet. I think it'd be either way. We're going to be working with between the two, and a project could launch on both Ergo and Cardano through our platform.
Yeah, the one thing that our ecosystem has got a lot of shit for over the years is our naming ability. So maybe we should evolve beyond the Cardano pad.
No, bring that naming ability into Cardano. We
Cardano Dex.
Cardano something.
Well,
Cardax. No, because we did have a Cardax. I don't know what happened to that, but and then we had we do have a few things named Cardano.
There is ErgoPad,
but I don't think we have a Cardano Dex. Do we?
There's Card Starter. There's ErgoPad.
Okay, so there's Card Starter.
But a lot of them are just
they're
just branded Binance launch pads that have Cardano in the name. It's crazy.
Yeah,
wait, they're not even on.
No, they're launching.
They're
launching tokens on Binance Smart Chain and then naming the launch pad.
Yeah, so some of these guys, because you look at them and like, all right, Cardano. Like, where is it though? Where's the Cardano?
Where's the Cardano part?
Oh yeah, we just launched this new project. It's on BNB.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Oh, was it just like first to market before there was smart contracts, so launched in a different market?
I guess so. I
guess. Yeah.
So
it was something like that. Yeah.
First to market in the wrong market. Brilliant.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's just an example of things that we don't need that exist because of a bull market,
That's funny.
That's what frustrates me about our industry is we're not building enough actual sustainable utility, and we're building just too much like,
sometimes not even building anything.
Yeah.
Not even building. It's just like vapor value.
I think it's important.
It's like vapor value.
Yeah.
You launch a token, numbers go up, you dump the token, make something else, launch a new token, numbers go up, dump the token. It just keeps rinsing and repeating, and it's really because look, sooner or later people will wise up to it. Even with with such technology as the internet had happened. Back in 2000, with the .com crash, because they just kept regurgitating .com shit so much that such, with technology that we're using right now, that is like a daily, like part of our daily lives, that has become such normal thing because of all the time the industry spent building good things on it, right? Building infrastructure on it.
Building something
big dump. Yeah, took a big dump because the first things that were built on it were basically like like useless websites and porn. I mean that's pretty much like the internet of the 90s was that. But great things came out of it. Like I keep bringing up the when I talk to my team, I keep bringing up the eBay idea, and how what they did was they provided a robust low barrier of entry user experience to people where they could basically get more variety of things to buy in a lot more like an interactive environment. And it's just easy, like you said, you find what you're looking for, You buy it, you pay for it, electronically, no bullshit, no hassles, and it arrives at your door if it's small enough. Yeah, it's the same thing here with crypto that we really need to and with blockchain we really need to kind of really focus on,
It's a simple solution. It's not, that's the funny thing. It's really not a difficult problem to solve. It's just open source code.
It is. It's open source code, and it's also, like I said, it's building something that is just not, numbers go up bullshit.
Yeah.
It's building like what Marty is building. This is useful stuff. This is, for running a business, basically. Like I can run a business on Paideia. Paideia. I can run a business,
and I can audit it.
That's the thing, and it's auto audited because it's all on chain and all the history's there on the platform. I mean, we can build CSV exports into it, and then you can just bring that, hand this to your accountant. They look it through over it, and there it is. Your yearly taxes are done, and your books are done. They're all on chain there. You don't have to. I mean, it'll reduce some of the costs of doing business. Anyone who runs a business knows. I mean, you're always paying your lawyer. You got to constantly do like your annual reports and your transparency documents, and there's like all these things you're constantly paying a lawyer to do, and it's just boilerplate. And if it can happen on chain and you just hit a button, it's like annual report done. And it's like, this is submitted to if a country is willing to take that report because it's audited and it's on chain and somebody's already looked at it and it fits their structure. I mean, maybe we can get El Salvador to start thinking about that instead of being the old school way where you have to have paperwork and go down to your lawyer's office and sign it or whatever. It's just on chain. You hit a button, it's done, and there's your annual corporate documents.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, they've also made it so a token is not a security, but if you can use a token sort of similar to security, I mean, it costs $500,000 to get a company on the stock market in the United States. Like, I think that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I think it's definitely over $100,000.
It's more than I would want to do, more than I have sitting around. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
So it helps, and it eliminates barriers of borders, right? I mean, people from all around the globe can work together and kind of eliminate some of those barriers. So there's a lot of potential if regulators don't block us from using it to the point where everyone just lets them. See what happens.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. We're in for a fun ride either way. I'm looking forward to that. If you do go over to Cardano, I hope you bring the same ethos: open source code, community funding, community project, community management, and I think that those principles protect people. Absolutely, is the bottom line. They protect people, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the tooling that you're going to be using to come, to go cross chain, because a lot of people are really looking forward to it. I mean, I know the Ergo community is looking forward to the one and only Rosen Bridge. I am really looking forward to it because I also want to utilize it for a lot of the stuff that we're doing as well. And so kind of elaborate a little bit about what technology you're thinking of using to go cross chain, and just more specifically with Rosen, what you hope that you'd be able to do, what excites you. Just kind of elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most exciting thing, well, there's quite a few things that are exciting about Rosen Bridge, but one of them is the opportunity to it gives users the opportunity to provide liquidity there. It gives people an opportunity to earn. And it also can expose us to other markets. I mean, the crypto market is pretty fragmented right now. And the only way to go between currencies is either use a centralized exchange or a centralized bridge. And we all know what's happened with many of the centralized bridges between Solana and Ethereum. And there's just been so many exploits. And you then have to trust a centralized third party. Rosen Bridge kind of gives us the opportunity to do it without the centralized third party, which is just right off the bat, that's amazing. It's kind of the whole thing that crypto is about, is to reduce that as much as possible, right? If you If you can just use something because it's there on the blockchain and the smart contracts have been audited and you know it works, that's excellent, right? So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rosen allows you to wrap tokens from any blockchain. Is that?
In theory, yeah. In theory, yeah. So like on a very high level, we looking at all the exploits, we wanted to create a chain with a home base, or like a bridge with a home base. And so Ergo is the home base for the Rosen framework, where
Super
all
cool.
the logic's going to happen on Ergo. And so we have kind of like this let's say environment that we come from, we understand, right? And then you basically build the kind of equivalent of big multi-sig wallets on other chains, and you just use off-chain infrastructure to watch and relay that to the Ergo chain, say, hey, something's happening. And then once there's, let's say, enough activity to say something's happening, then the guards come and they execute some logic, and things get wrapped and it moves. So the net goal there was actually to be able to have interoperability with other networks without basically catching any vulnerability from being in an environment that we just don't know.
Right. That's super cool. I mean, there's so many opportunities there. You could, it means that you could have wrapped ETH and wrapped Cardano and have that trading pair on a DEX with the ability to go back to the native chain if you want to. I mean, it's just brilliant.
Sure.
It's going to be.
And potentially, if you have liquidity, they're all privacy tokens too.
That's right.
With the mixer,
Okay.
with the mixers. So a lot of neat stuff that potentially can be built into that type of framework if there's enough liquidity.
Yeah, it's going to be something. And then liquidity providers will make money off of that. So there's the incentive there. So it's just a matter of notifying enough people in blockchain who care to start bringing liquidity and bringing market share over here. So I don't know. I hope we can push it. I think 2022 was a lot of a kind of build the base, build the bottom of the pyramid for Ergo. Like, we need all these things, this infrastructure that already exists on Ethereum. Ethereum was super boring before, you started to be able to do things and the end user could do things. And Ergo has been boring up until pretty recently. And we're finally giving people, I mean, nobody wants to just buy a token and then they can't do anything with it, right? Like,
no, it's true.
First thing people ask is like, okay, well, what can we do on Ergo? And until recently, the answer was stake ErgoPad or trade on the DEX. It's like, well, what's the point in trading on the DEX if there's nothing you can do with the tokens you trade into? So we're finally getting to a point where we can start to do lending and, I don't know. I think DeFi is coming quickly.
Just from working in the Ergo ecosystem and in the blockchain ecosystems that we're in, what would you say your biggest, I guess, formula for success in that particular field is?
Me personally, I think it's a combination of three things. The first is that you need the right people in the right places. Absent that, it's hard. Second, I think that it's good to push to some form of MVP before you open your mouth too much.
I was going to say,
because you're always going to hit issues that it's like, I don't know, you're gonna change something or mature as you build, right? It's like as you climb up your project, you're gonna have different insights and kind of vision in terms of what things should be. So I think sometimes like bootstrapping from zero and saying this is how things are gonna be, you lock yourself into something that may or may not be the case, right? So sometimes like that initial MVP or experience, I don't know, it gives you greater insight in terms of what the future is going to be, because now you have something you can play with versus an idea in your head. It's always easy to, I don't know, put together frameworks in your head, but sometimes when you put them in reality, that birthing process is a little painful.
Is there a third one?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the third one has to do with just like the people you attract from the ecosystem, right? Like, who do you listen to? Where do you draw your advice or insight from? Because you have a lot of noise in crypto, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, what is going to be, I don't know, let's say the people in your community or the people in the industry that are going to kind of influence you in terms of your thinking, what you're trying to create, what you're trying to do. And I think it's easy for people to kind of look at the, I don't know, get lost in the shininess of crypto sometimes. And, they just get away from like, what are you here for? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? And stick to that.
I think speaking about developing in the crypto ecosystem, something a lot of people don't think about enough is like kind of the game theory of how their platform's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Cardano had a lot of its success, I think, because of the SPOs. By
Yep.
having the SPOs financially incentivized to promote the platform, you created this huge community of people that are always pushing it on Twitter and are always pushing it on other social media platforms because they want to build their own big community of people who stake with their platform. So I think that may have been by accident. Just, I don't know if Charles really knew that that was going to happen when he designed the SPO situation, like, or maybe not Charles, but the group of people who designed it. But it really worked in Cardano's favor. Ergo doesn't have something like that yet. We don't really have a place where people want to put their resources and it encourages them to then go out and promote the Ergo platform. We don't really have that kind of game theory behind any of the current platforms that are on Ergo. So I'd love to see people kind of think about that more. Another thing that I want to touch on, Armenio, you kind of mentioned MVPs. If you're going to launch a project on crypto or on any project, doesn't have to be on crypto, it helps to have a demo, some kind of MVP demo, even if it's just a UX click demo on Figma to say, this is what it's going to look like. Now you can like try it out, right? I mean, if you just tell people, a white paper is kind of an example of a demo, like a lower form of a click demo, right? But a lot of people don't bother to write a white paper that's extensive enough to show people what you're really going to be doing. They have light papers. They just say, well, this is what we want to do. It's like, okay, well, who are you? How are you going to build it? When are you going to build it? How much do you need? Nobody says any of that. Nobody does that work. So we're trying to encourage people to do that more. Duck Pools did it really well with their white paper. They also released an MVP before launching their platform. So I love to see that. I'd love to see more of that on Ergo. And I'd love to see people start thinking about the game theory behind their platforms. How do we get people to ape into Ergo because they have a financial incentive to come here?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. It's gonna, I kind of smiled when you said a UI because really, what we're building with Palmyra is pretty complex. There's a lot of different moving parts, and one of the biggest tasks is really to figuring out what do you start with, right? And it might be several things that you start with, and it might take a while for it to really start working because also there has to be liquidity behind, there has to be a community behind it. But how do you really showcase it, and also how do you do it without spending, a lot of money on dev resources because you're basically out there raising more money. And we did that with our UI and UX, and that's what you were saying. We built out the UI and the UX. We worked with Nicholas on it. He did a fantastic job. I mean, I highly recommend Nicholas.
Everyone needs to know Nico.
Anyway. Yeah,
Nico designed Paideia as well.
He's a rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know. So that's why I'm, I know you've had that same experience, and yeah, I mean, just he's amazing at his job. I can't say enough good things about him. And yeah, we built out the UI, the UX to really kind of, because it's big vision. When you have these big visions, it's really difficult sometimes to articulate them in a succinct way.
Yeah.
And so how do you do it, right? I mean, yeah, of course you have your elevator pitch, you have your 30-second, you have your 90-second, you have your 5-minute spiel, you have your slide decks, but that only goes so far because then people kind of get into that, like, the slide deck pitch mode, And I think it's very important to have something visual for them. For a lot of people, it's human nature to learn visually. So it's just the human brain works like that. People are naturally visual learners. And so when you bring a UI to them, when you show them that's what it looks like, even if it doesn't really do all these things in the back that it's supposed to do, if you show them what it looks like in the front. So like, I really think that a UI is like 70% of the product.
Even though,
I mean,
well, the
I
reason
know
it's like 10 times as many resources to build the rest of it, but once you have the UI, it's like, okay, well, here's what we're building. This is it.
Well, that's you see, that's the thing. End customer perception. That's what I'm talking about. End customer perception is UI, 70%, everything else in the background. It could be like this amazing technology that took years to build, millions of dollars, and it's just like this great thing. And to some people who understand the technology, you know, the back end, and you know, to the researchers and to the developers and to the technical people, it looks beautiful. But to the average user, you can't expect them to really have that same perception. And so what is important to them? The important thing to them is the UI and the UX. How they utilize this, what it looks like, what is the process, and how does it come out on the other end, right? And I think, like I said, that is why I believe that as far as the end user is concerned, the UI UX is 70%, or the UI is 70% of what they care about, really. And if you show that to them, if you show them that's what it looks like, it's something tangible. It's something they can kind of touch and click through and say, okay, oh, that's how that works. That's how that works. It's very powerful. And we actually we had several people who were, you know, I mean, we're interested in talking to me and talking to us just because of past, you know, past reputation and whatnot. But going into this thing, like, so what is this thing exactly? And you show them the UI and they come out, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. And literally it's been like across the board. You know, we built down this UI. Every single time we show it to somebody, they come out like super bullish, like, guys, this is going to be fucking amazing. You know, this is great. And, you know, and that's that. It's all about, like you said, having something tangible there before you do a lot of screaming. Because
pitch decks are,
things change.
They're often so low
Yeah, go ahead.
Like a low effort thing. A pitch deck is like, what, 20 slides? I mean, you throw some marketing research off Google and you know, like you list your competitors and you say, well, we're better because of this. It's like, but how? Like, I mean, show us. You know, I don't know. I've seen quite a few pitch decks, and very few of them really tell me that this is going to be
much.
What's that? Much?
Very few tell you much.
Yeah, it's just like we think we're awesome. Like, we're gonna be great, but it's like, I don't know if I believe you. But if you call Nico, first talk to Nico, and you don't have to invest a ton of money. If you have a project in mind, get Nico to build you a click demo in Figma, and then you can show off that product. But it has to be Nico. That guy.
Best opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Big Pampa.
Don't.
This has turned into a big sales pitch.
Don't screw around. Just go to Nico. don't mess around. Just go to Nico.
Just put his card. Just put his card on the screen. You know.
Hi, my name is Nico, and I am the founder of Big Pampa. We offer design solutions ranging from branding, web design, animation, 3D, all the way to UX UI design and prototyping, focusing only on Web3 and blockchain-related projects.
Listen, Marty, it is always great to have you on. I mean, really, and I'm really excited to know that things are moving along. That you know, you're building your own crosschain. I mean, that's huge. And yeah, I just really hope that you keep the momentum up. I know you will, and we'd love to have you back whenever you got something to talk to us about.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this exciting edition of Ergo Pulse. Looks like Joe has Joe's pulse is going down because
I'm hungry, man. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go eat some food.
No, okay, the pulse is up. The blood sugar is down. The pulse. Okay, I get it. Well, anyway, Joe's gotta eat. I gotta eat. And Marty.
I gotta eat.
Well, Marty's got
We all gotta eat.
Anyway,
it's great chatting with you guys. I love doing these.
All right.
We'll do it again soon.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks everyone, and so long.
Ciao.
Have a good one.